100%.
There's a monster outside.
What you people discovered is bigger than we ever thought possible.
How big is that thing?
It was the largest shark that ever existed.
A living fossil.
Thought to have been extinct for over 2 million years.
Wrong.
My God. It's a megalodon.
He's kidding, right?
That thing's out there. You need to find it and kill it.
Why don't you just put a tracker on it? Did you guys ever watch Shark Week?
He looks heroic, but he's kind of got a negative attitude.
Chew on this, you ugly.
Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and other podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie. And find us on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Delvecchio, and with me as always is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, friends.
Hello. So I had an interesting weekend as I went down to North Carolina, which is why I was not here last week. Since I shared a room with my sister and niece, I was subjected to the Disney Channel for an entire weekend. And let me just say, they have basically just gotten a formula and just reskinned it with different things. Because they have this show that's about like this family of villains in a town. And it's basically just Hannah Montana in that the best friend knows their secret identity but doesn't want to tell anybody. And that they have to hide it from anybody else in town. And I'm just like, oh, so this is just all recycled garbage from when we watched the Disney Channel in there. And it was interesting to just see they're not doing much different. But I do recommend if you like weird, like kids' cartoons and stuff, Big City Greens is actually pretty well written from the episodes I saw. Or maybe it's just Stockholm Syndrome from watching it all weekend. But yeah, it's a couple times where there were some really, well-written jokes that we always say with comedies that hit both for the kids and the adults in there that the kids wouldn't really get. But yeah, I recommend that if you're, for some reason, like to watch animated series. So anyway, that's just my opening. I just had a eye-opening weekend and actually had a movie to watch, which we'll get to.
Whenever I have a kid, Mark and Anthony, whenever I have a kid, I refuse to let them watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse because I have PTSD from that song.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that song 24/7 for years. And I went to a friend of ours' house recently and they had that playing. And it's like, it's almost like a Clockwork Orange where, where I was talking, we're having a good time. And all of a sudden the theme song hits and I just went like comatose.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey,
Doubled over.
Yeah. Like I went into the fetal position. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like I can't listen to this song. I need to block it from my memory. So I know Disney is the king of just rehashing shows and ideas. So by the time, my kid I have a kid and they're old enough to watch this stuff, they'll probably have a different iteration of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, whatever the future of a clubhouse is at that point, Mickey Mouse spaceship or whatever.
I would say if you're a parent nowadays, it would probably be Bluey, which was the cartoon I saw on repeat every morning. That came on.
I can't.
Okay. Yeah, I have nothing to relate to on this one. Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
I don't know the theme song to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Consider yourself lucky.
But as we do each week, we talk about what we watched this week. So Dan, what did you watch this week? Anything?
I did. I watched a few older movies. Nothing really to discuss. But I did watch The Gray Man on Netflix. Came out a few days ago. Russo brothers.
You always seem to jump on these Netflix originals.
It's convenient. I
Gotcha.
don't need to go outside, and I don't need to spend money. So I wasn't looking forward to this one, but again, it was just there. So
It's got a very handsome cast. I'll say that.
A very handsome. Everyone is a 10. Everyone involved in this movie is a 10, pretty much. But I think that's really the long and short of it. It's your typical spy being betrayed by his company. You know, you've seen it in Bourne, Mission Impossible, and that's pretty much what it is here. Action is great. It's a lot of big bangs and long dialogue, but the story is just a very flat story. Not great. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. It's okay. It's fun to put on in the background. And I also watched this. I think you guys might have heard about it. Triple R. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, and I haven't gotten a chance to watch it because it's 3 hours long.
It's 3 hours long, and it feels every bit of those 3 hours. But it's wild, man. I've never watched a Bollywood movie, so I really didn't know what to expect, but it's bananas, and in a good way. It really just throws everything at you, and it's very campy at times, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, but serious enough to kind of keep you entertained. There's a scene. There's literally a scene where a man captures all of these wild animals and then in slow motion unleashes them upon the police force in slow motion, just letting them out of their cages in a truck. And they all come flying out. It's like the Avengers Age of Ultron opening where they all kind of come into the scene slow motion. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But this has tigers and lions and like an ostrich, I think. There's just so many animals coming out of these cages. It's fucking bananas. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good time. I would recommend it if you have 3 hours to spare. But that's it for me.
Mark, what about you? Besides your Disney Channel excursions.
Well, the one movie I did watch happened to be on the Disney Channel. I watched The Boss Baby.
Good Lord.
And let me say, it was an experience. I gotta say, the movie was much different than I thought it was going to be, because it did the thing I was not expecting, and from all the promotional material, it basically turned about a third of the way through the movie, maybe close to half, and it just became a completely different movie than what the ad showed it to be, because they, it stopped being about, that character being like this crazy smart baby or whatever, and started to become a thing about having to help the baby. And it was just like, oh, okay. I mean, this is kind of cute for a kids movie, I guess. But yeah, so I can now cross The Boss Baby off my bucket list of movies. Not that it was on any kind of list.
Kind of sounds like it was on a list.
It was on a list.
Didn't that get nominated for like best animated movie?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I think the change, as much as I made fun of it being there, is actually better than if they would have done the whole movie without Baldwin being basically his character from either
30 Rock.
30 Rock.
Either that or the it's either
Gary Glenn Ross.
That's it, Glengarry Glen Ross. Basically being those characters. He even makes a "cookies are for closers" joke in the movie. But it's just
the one bone the creators gave the parents watching the movie.
Yeah. There's a couple jokes like that in there, but that's the only one I remember because I'm like, great. But yeah, like I said, it's a fine movie. It's not, if my kid wanted to watch Boss Baby every day, I think I could live with it. It's not like one of those movies that you're like, oh Jesus, it's like the 6th time we're watching this movie today.
It's not the kangaroo song.
Yeah. It's just, there's no singing in it really. There's it's a pretty decent story while simple, but it's not anything where I would just slowly want to be like that gif of that guy slowly pulling the gun up to his head, while watching the movie. But yeah, I'm glad that of the movies they decided to show as their movie of the weekend, I'm like, all right, it's a decent movie because they showed it 3 times. I didn't watch it all 3 times all the way through. But yeah, it was another thing they did is constant repeat of everything. I almost could basically do line for line a bunch of the shows that came on. But yeah, Boss Baby, I would, if you have kids, they'll probably like it. You won't hate it, which is probably a good recommendation for Disney movies. So I actually did watch a movie, not by choice, just because the 11-year-old, because she did have a birthday on Friday, decided that that's all we were watching. I tried to put Triple D on at one point, just to break the monotony, and it immediately went back to Disney Channel. So, hotel television, people.
Yeah. All right. As for me, I watched a few things. I crossed something off my movie watching bucket list. Was it
the Boss Baby 2?
I was going to say Boss Baby 2.
It was Boss Baby 2. No, it was actually my first Hayao Miyazaki film I ever watched. Spirited Away.
Oh, so good.
It was fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Wow, Dan.
I put it on because, I think a lot of talk has been about like the IMDb top 100 movies on like TikTok and stuff has been coming up.
Yeah.
So I realized that my two biggest blind spots on that list, despite the fact that list being absolutely terrible, are anime films and silent film Charlie Chaplin movies. So I decided to knock one off the list and go Spirited Away. I liked it. It was later, and towards the end, it just kind of lost me in terms of my attention. But it was good from what kept my attention, I'll say. So I decided to watch that. And I also went to the theater twice this weekend. The one I would plan to go and was one of my more anticipated movies of the year was Nope. I went to go see Nope, which I liked. Not better than Get Out, but better than Us, probably.
Yeah, this movie, I'm seeing a lot of mixed reviews between it. Like, people like it, but they're not sure if it's one of his better movies.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 3, so it's at least his third best.
Right.
No matter no matter where you place it, it's at least his third best movie. I think it's a really strong movie, and there are some choices in the last half hour that you can go one way or the other on the fence of. Either it works for you, it doesn't. It worked for me for the most part. Creature designs were a little like head scratching otherwise, and like things that happened, it was like, well, why did that happen? Or maybe because this happened, but who knows? They don't really point to it. But performances are really good. It's exciting. It's really well done. Like the 2 leads, and then Stephen Yeun from Walking Dead, also really good. But it was good. And then the better movie I saw in theaters this week was Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It is a 90-minute delight, I will say. What took the wife to see it, and both really enjoyed it. And it's actually one of my favorite movies of the year so far. Really good.
Did you cry at all watching it?
I got choked up, but never actually cried.
It seems like a tearjerker kind of movie.
It's like a life-affirming kind of really sweet kind of movie that you're gonna come out of it feeling good, and sometimes you need that. But it was really good. Really enjoyed it. So if you get a chance to see Marcel the Shell, I suggest it. 90 minutes, that sweet spot. Gotta love it.
That's good.
Yeah. That's all I watched this week. So I think we're going to take a quick break and listen to some ads so we can pay those bills. And we'll be back in a second. And welcome back. Now it's time to get into this week's movie. And this week was our July movie of the month. And because this is technically Shark Week, we decided to pit 3 shark movies against each other. So my pick was Jaws 3D. Dan's pick was Shark Tale, the animated feature. And this pick was Mark's, who won. So, Mark, why don't you introduce this week's movie?
Yeah, so the movie I picked this week was The Meg, starring Jason Statham. And I gotta say, I think the main reason I picked this movie is because I'm kind of a mark, a sucker, whatever you want, for these type of really dumb disaster movies. And it fell right into that guilty pleasure category, where if it comes on basic cable, if I have basic cable at any point, I will keep it on. It feels, and I think it is actually on the TBS app. So it feels like a TBS TNT movie that's just on in the middle of the day for that. So this movie had everything, the really stupid, characters that you love to hate, and ones you think may turn out to be different, but they're the same. There's no real turn in them. There's a lot of comedy that sort of borderlines on problematic, but not really. And just a lot of these things which probably sound a lot cooler on paper, but never really translated. And it was fun to see some random people from things I've seen in the past pop up in this. Most noteworthy, the guy that plays Hero, or I think his name's Hero or whatever, in the show Heroes from the first season is the guy that's on the first ship in there. Yeah. I was like, oh, that guy, awesome. I do have some make it betters, but we'll get there. It has to do with a little bit of the cast, but it was, for the type of movie it is. It's fine. I think Statham is trying to become he'll be Jason Statham in every movie that he's in. I don't know how that's working out for him at this point, but that's essentially what I got out of it. I like the idea of what they were doing before, it became, the horror disaster, whatever movie with the shark. Was actually a pretty fun and cool science fiction idea to kind of explain why what happens. I'm curious what you guys thought, if you had seen it before, because I hadn't seen it until we watched it this week.
Okay, Dan, let's go to you. What do you think? Where are you coming from with The Meg?
So I believe, I was trying to think of this earlier. I couldn't remember 100%, but Ant, I think you and I saw this in theaters together, correct?
Nope, this is my first time seeing it.
Okay, so I thought we did, but
Dan, I feel like this is a you and John movie.
Yes, so myself and our friend, and that's why I thought Anthony might have also have been there. Okay. So I know I saw this in the theater. I've seen it a couple times, but I agree with you, Mark. This is definitely something that you could have on, it's on like TNT or TBS just in the background. I don't think I've seen it many times, maybe 2-3 times. My wife unironically loves this movie. I don't know why. I asked her yesterday while we were watching it, why do you like this movie? And her response was, why? So you can make fun of me for it? No, I'm genuinely curious why you like this movie. And she said, I don't know. It's just silly. And I think that sums up the movie very well. It's a very silly, over the top movie. You can't take it seriously. Although I don't have fun watching it. I didn't enjoy seeing it. I don't know what it is really. I think there needed to be a higher body count with this film when you have a gigantic shark that, like, when it opens its mouth, it could swallow you whole. It could swallow people whole. It needed to have a bigger body count. I think it would probably have been better with a different lead actor. I think everyone else does fine. I'm not a big Jason Statham fan. I think he's like one of my least favorite action stars of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's one of my changes.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. Not that he ruins this movie.
Yeah,
It just
not at all.
he doesn't add anything to it. You could switch him out with anyone else, and this movie would still be basically the same. I think. Everyone else does okay. It's very I have very minimal notes on this movie because it's just kind of bland. It's kind of boring and sometimes it drags. And I think the only thing that sticks out to me in this movie is that they killed 2 whales and it made me sad.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that because after being sad originally, I was like, I bet Dan got really sad at this part.
I did, yeah, that was unnecessary. But then they saved the dog.
I was going to say, and then the dog thing happened. I was, oh fuck! Did he turn this movie off?
This movie.
Dogs always survive in disaster movies.
Well, not in Jaws.
Jaws is a disaster movie.
It's
That's
not
a
a disaster movie, but it's a homage to Jaws.
But they always do that. Like these disaster movies, they always got that dog in peril scene. Like I think like Independence Day's got it in the tunnel.
Yep.
And then like Speed 2 Cruise Control even does it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad that you gave it its subtitle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Jason Patrick classic. As for me, this was my first time watching it, and throughout all the Letterboxd reviews, a lot of the saying was like, "Oh, it's just dumb and fun," and I agree with the first part. It's dumb. I did not have fun with this movie. And like Dan, I don't really know. I can't really pinpoint why I didn't have fun with it. I think the shark's too big. I mean, I know it's a movie about a giant shark, but it's too big. And
Shark too damn big.
It's too big. That's really what it comes down to. There's a point where it's like the uncanny valley in reverse sort of thing, where it's like it's so big now it's hard to. It just like it takes the terror out of it because it's so unbelievable. I think is what it is. Because it's just so giant. It's like, well, are you really going to outrun this giant fucking shark? No, you're not. It's going to eat half of that ship. Why doesn't it eat half, like the entire ships every time it drives past? I don't know, because it just doesn't. And it's not very fun. Like the things that they do for the first hour aren't enjoyable to watch people do. I don't know. And then they set up a feeding frenzy on the beach and it doesn't fucking happen, which is the biggest letdown.
Yeah.
Like they have the Piranha 3D scene set up and they don't do it. And it's so, and I guess, you know, it's PG-13.
Yeah.
They obviously weren't going to do it in all its glory, but yeah, I did not have fun with this movie and I wish I did. But
it has the makings of it, right?
Yeah, it's just dull. For a lot of it, it's dull.
Yeah. I think going back to Dan's point, I think a couple of the casting choices is I could see you replacing a Statham with even like a Tom Hardy or something like that, who's a little more interesting of an actor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Statham was my problem. Sure, you could replace him with Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig's a better actor. I don't know.
I think you can upgrade the scientist, Bing Bing Lee, I believe.
She's fine. I liked her.
With like a Maggie Q or one of the other, you know. But it's just upgrading the actors, but you don't know, you know, if they read this script and had the same reaction as Ant, like what the fuck, you know. And then this is who they were able to get.
It's just I don't.
Same with Rainn Wilson.
I really don't think what my problem with it is the cast. I mean, I think there are some like secondary characters which are like, oh, this guy's not a good actor. Like DJ, the guy that plays DJ,
not
is
Ice
bad.
Cube.
Non-Ice Cube is really bad. But I really wish I knew what the main problem I have. I feel like it's like these are just marine researchers, not interesting. It's not a relatable. They're not out there for a relatable reason. They're not doing relatable things when they're in peril, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes down to. Also, it was like the science of it was like you guys are surfacing really quick. isn't that a thing that happens with deep sea diving? Is like that
They
pressurized things that becomes an issue.
they do mention it at the beginning, but they never follow through with it.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean that
like,
that really didn't be that wasn't the main thing, but I just like, man, it's like shouldn't 10,000 feet below sea level like be a thing in this movie?
Yeah.
But it's never really.
Well, yeah, they write that away by saying the equipment is meant to withstand over like 15,000 or something.
Right. I get it's a conceit that you need to buy. You need to just like move past, because otherwise, they're obviously awakening a prehistoric giant shark. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to hang up on it, but
Yeah.
I didn't feel. I feel like the lack of terror was the thing that really got me. Just like, I don't really care. I don't really care that Rainn Wilson just died. I don't really care that everybody just keeps falling off the fucking boat.
So many times.
I don't care about any of these people. I don't care about why they're out there doing this. I don't care that now Zhang is all of a sudden being like, we did whatever man always does, is to kill nature. I was like, this is a 40-foot fucking shark, man. Come on. I think we'll let this slide in the man destroys everything thing. On the list of priorities of keeping things alive, a 40-foot shark is low on there. It's like mosquitoes is a little bit higher.
I did like how they had a few environmentalism messages in it, like that being one, and then the shark finning. Like, did the Meg get these sharks? No, that man did that. They cut the fins off and throw the sharks back just for some soup, which is a very big problem in the world, which I'm glad they pointed out. But it's kind of like falling on deaf ears. Like, this isn't the movie to do that, because it's supposed to be silly and stupid. So I think it was getting its wires crossed a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think my main issue, and I was just thinking about it, with Statham is he's far too serious in this movie, where everyone else is not serious. And I think if he had a little bit more fun with it, maybe it comes across better, and the role comes across better. But he is just, everyone else is kind of chewing the scenery. Rainn Wilson, that guy who plays the wall, DJ, Ruby Rose, they're all kind of just like making these stupid one-line quips, and but like Statham is just like stoic, and he's the man, and he's supposed to be this like no bullshit macho dude, and like, all right, well, this isn't the movie for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this is where I guess me and Ant's opinion split off a bit. Is I was actually interested in the science part, as crazy as it is. That stuff is fun and interesting, just the way, because you got to come up with new ideas, like everything else has been done before. So the idea that there's actually a space beneath the Mariana Trench is sort of like, oh, okay, that's a pretty cool idea. I agree with you that the shark is way too big.
Too fucking big.
Because those scenes where it's attacking them, I'm just like, it's just silly that the shark does not, have them. And when the shark's like tied up or whatever from the trap, and it somehow doesn't like just pull the boat that
thing will be dragging that thing all over God's creation.
And
it's silly.
So I think I was a little bit more bought into the science part of it. I think I say this about a lot of movies we watch. I think there is definitely the bones of a solid movie here. But they go PG-13, so you don't get the beach scene, which would have improved it. They tried to go a little too big with the shark itself. They didn't make you care about anybody outside of, I guess, Zhang's daughter because of the granddaughter, maybe. They didn't even put the daughter in danger too much. Just that one scene, which I guess is like the trailer scene.
Oh yeah.
That is about it. But yeah, I think you could do a movie about this. I think if you make, as mixing both of your opinions, I think if you do what Dan said and make, it was you that talked about Statham being too serious, right, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure before. But yeah, if he's a little more a wise ass, cocky, sort of a person, rather than going with the tragic backstory of I'm not crazy. There was a big thing down there. If they could cut off just that first part of the movie where he fails the rescue and just make him this cocky guy that like does all these rescues and is like, of course you fucking need me. Whatever. Maybe it's a little bit better, but it's one of these things where I think they were trying to put their toes in two different things, in terms of being, scary and horror while also trying to be a little too serious at times. Trying to be a mixture of like a Jaws type movie and like a Deep Blue Sea type, where, if it would have stuck to one lane and just made the shark just up and down the Pacific coast of just destroying beach towns and boats and stuff. And they had to chase and catch them or whatever. But they tried to do the eco stuff and Rainn Wilson being the shitty billionaire and all that like dramatic, like, making a lesson type things into it when they could have just had a fun shark movie. But like I said, it's got enough scenes that if it's on in the background, I'll peek at it. It's fun, but I wish it was a little more stupid than it was. Even though there is a scene where he basically swims up next to the shark and stabs it through the eye.
Yeah.
That I would never happen. Because if that shark just inhales or whatever, he's gone. But yeah, I think that was the main thing. If you make the Satan character a little more fun and, just make it, not have the real dark, heavy lessons of losing lives, sort of thing. It could go up a few points in it, but nope, that's not what we got. They thought they had this great movie on their hands and it was.
I wish they didn't also try to introduce this pseudo love story in there between Jason Statham and Bing Lee.
You got to get those foreign market dollars, man.
I guess. But it seems as if even the actors aren't really fully invested in it, right?
She looked completely uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah. It doesn't look like... I guess it's in the script, like, hey, you see him without his shirt on and he's ripped and everything and like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have seen that. And then it builds. But even as it builds, it's kind of like more of a friendship instead of it coming across as, oh, they're going to hook up now.
Yeah, and that scene works a lot better, the shirtless scene, if he's the cocky asshole that I was talking about.
I agree.
Like Gerard Butler, like you like what you see.
Yeah.
If it was Gerard Butler's character from The Ugly Truth,
that's a perfect example.
Yeah, just needs to be an a-hole, but in a fun way.
Oh, you can say asshole on this podcast. Don't worry about it, Mark.
Yeah, I said it already. I just chose to say a-hole.
He wants to switch it up a little bit, keep it fresh.
I know we have a limit.
Mr. Thesaurus over here. Switching it up.
I know we have a limit here now that we're sponsored by Turner, since all we mentioned was TBS and TNT.
This is my third favorite shark movie we've covered. The other two are Cruel Jaws and Jaws 4.
I was going to ask you guys. We've covered shark movies. We've covered space movies. Where would you rather go? Would you rather go to space or would you rather go into the, Mariana Trench and like 10,000 feet down below the water?
Personally, I think the ocean is more interesting.
I was coming at it from a different angle. I was thinking which death would I rather have?
Yeah.
I want no part of drowning. That's one of besides being like buried alive, I think that's like the worst. So I feel like, just your head exploding in the reaches of space might be slightly better.
Yeah.
I was going to come from the angle of where do you have the best chance of being rescued? And it's got to be the ocean.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Ain't no one coming for you in space.
Yeah, you're screwed. So, I mean, I'm terrified. I go into the ocean like 3 feet in I'm terrified of what's beneath me because I can't see,
Mhm.
and I'm like walking very gingerly. Something touches my foot, I'm done. No, thank you. But
Yeah.
if someone told me you either go to space or you go into, you go into 10,000 leagues under the sea here, I'm choosing the sea out of the possibility of being saved.
Yeah. And my thing essentially is coming from that. We know what some of the life is real deep in the ocean, so we can sort of have an idea of what could be deeper or what could be giant versions of things and stuff like that as we go deeper. We haven't really found like any life in space, so everything's just a guess. That may be not even close to what anything looks like. So that's why I always find that even ocean discoveries and stuff in real life interest me a little bit more. Just because it's so, as they explain here, like nobody's actually gone down to the floor, of the trench. So they had this theory that it's not a floor but a cloud. It's an interesting idea because it could well be true. We don't know. But the fact that we've been on this earth for so long and nobody's been able to figure that out yet, it's just I think there's a lot more to pick at there. And for some reason, to me,
Wait. There's more to pick at under the ocean than the vastness of all of space.
Yeah, I think it's because it's more relatable. The things we can explore down there. To be honest, yeah.
What is it? Only like 40 or 50% of the ocean has been explored, or something like that. It's a very small amount.
Guys, the ocean is part of Earth, which is a tiny microscopic speck of the entire universe. Come on.
But there's no point in exploring everything else out there.
40% of the ocean is a lot compared to how much we've explored of space.
I mean, yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
No, it's objective fact.
Well,
now, you might say you want to explore that. That's fine, Mark. But to say that there is more to be found is mind-blowing to me. I'm off this podcast. Good night, everybody.
I think the step that might have been miscalculated in my brain when I mentioned that was
no, don't bow down to him.
I'm not going to bow down. No. My point was being
stick to your guns. God damn it!
I was saying it more in the terms of movies than the actual science of space. Obviously, there's more space than there is the ocean. I'm not an idiot. Even though I try to challenge that every time on this podcast. But my process was thinking about in terms of movies, but because I think there's a lot more to explore in terms of there hasn't been many compared to space movies. I don't think there's many like deep sea, crazy movies. It'd be fun to do that comparison, but I don't know.
It's Deep Blue Sea, the abyss, and that's it.
Yeah. Like there's a lot more to explore in that sense. The numbers are not there to back up my thing that there's more to explore in the ocean than in space.
Do you know why? I'll tell you right now. Do you know why the ocean is the correct answer?
Why?
Because billionaires are not trying to get into the ocean. That's why they're not
just millionaires like James Cameron.
Yeah, James Cameron. I think it's cheaper to go to explore the ocean.
Yeah, but you don't have Bezos and Musk vying to shoot their dick rockets into the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, because they're just trying to find Elysium and trying when they burn this world up, they're going to need the rich people to go somewhere.
Hey, give me the undersea colony.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So much cooler. You actually have things to look at under the sea. You have your shit up in space.
If we get something on Mars and it shows me that there's cool shit on Mars besides like just the red desert that we've seen all the time. Like you show me one life form on there and I'm like, fuck it, Mars, awesome, let's go. But
crazy.
You're just gonna look at rocks.
This is insane to me. The guy that just said he can't go in 3 feet of water is now all of a sudden saying, yes, the deep sea is for me.
Well,
you guys don't even know your ass from your elbow.
No. If it comes down to scorched earth, Dan, you either need to go under the sea and live in our Atlantis colony, or we're gonna shoot you up to Mars. I'm choosing Atlantis. Because you can. It's so much easier to terraform the sea.
Is it?
It has to be, right? You can't terraform Mars.
But I need. Are your sources reliable on this one? I need your articles, your references annotated on these wild claims.
My sources are trust me, bro.
Yeah.
I will shoot you my sources in the Discord.
I mean, you have no idea how to terraform anything.
Well, personally, myself, now hold on 1 second, brother. I have a garden in my backyard, and I'm growing cucumbers. Checkmate. I could grow cucumbers in the ocean.
Wow, there's a lot about you guys today. So the Meg from 2018.
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
John Turteltaub, director of, get ready for it, Three Ninjas, Cool Runnings, While You Were Sleeping, The Kid, National Treasure, Book of Secrets, and The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Kind of like your go-to Disney live-action director. Stars: Jason Statham, Bingbing Lee, Rainn Wilson, Cliff Curtis, Winston Chow, Shuya Sophia Kai, Ruby Rose, Paige Kennedy, Olafur Darry Olafsson, Jessica McNamee, and Masi Oka. It has an IMDb score of 5.6 and a Rotten Tomato score of 45%. Budget: $130 million. Box office: $145 US, $530 million worldwide.
There we go.
Must have made gangbusters in China, thanks to Bingbing Lee and the fact that it was shot around that area. And the Chinese flag at the end of it. On that wedding boat.
That definitely helps.
Oh yeah, this is like those certain movies that they build plot points and cast around specifically just so that they make more money in overseas markets. Yeah. That's why Bingbing Lee is a second build in this.
And you're just hoping that you make a bit of a profit here in the States, I guess.
Yeah, well, you give the States Jason Statham, and then in China you probably have a cut that is more Bingbing Lee focused. And yeah, that's what runs the world now, because in terms of Hollywood, because there are billions of people in China, which I can't blame them, I suppose.
Bingbing Lee runs the world? Is that what we're saying?
Bingbing Lee runs the world, yeah. At least in the foreign markets. Yeah, you guys want to get into plot?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right, Dan, what do you got?
Going to give a quick shout out to our friends Tia and Brittany and let you know about their podcast, The Top 10 with Tia. It's a weekly podcast where Tia and Brittany run down their top 10 list of the week. So if that's your thing, go over to geekvibesnation.com, search Top 10 with Tia, download, rate, and review them, please. I'm sure they would love that. And you can follow Tia on Twitter at TC_Stark and Brittany on Twitter at IttyBittyBrit.
Okay, great. And we are going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to some messages from friends of the podcast. So we'll be back in a second.
Hey everyone, this is Steve.
And this is Adam.
And we're part of the Hop Nation USA podcast,
Pittsburgh's #3 craft beer podcast.
Join us every Friday for new beer reviews.
We'll talk about the news, history, and homebrewing.
Plus, we'll sit down with the best brewers and industry personalities that'll have us.
So whether you're a casual drinker, a hazy boy hophead,
or even if you're a whale hunting cellar hoarder,
just search Hop Nation USA on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher and join the nation.
Oh hi, didn't see you there. It's me, George, from the best little horror house in Philly, the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. We've talked about groundbreaking classics like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Alien, but we've also got a lot of great ones coming up, including some very fun guests like Len Kabaczynski of Swamp Zombies and Red Letter Media fame, Caroline Williams, the star of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Chase Williamson from John Dies at the End. So make sure you're subscribed to the best little horror house in Philly, and I'll see you boils and ghouls over there.
And welcome back. Now it's time to get into plot for The Meg. We open on a deep-sea rescue mission as Jason Statham, whose name is Jonas, boards... Hey, my name's Jonas. It's a pretty good Weezer song. Boards a submarine trying to rescue survivors of some sort of accident. As he goes to attend to one of the victims who's still alive, something starts to attack the hull, so he works to get as many survivors onto the rescue vessel. But he gets radioed by another group that is now trapped in the sub. starts to collapse in on itself. Jonas has to make the difficult decision of closing off the rescue vessel and pushing off, leaving the others to die. It starts with something starting to eat the hull, but not long after he closes off the hub, the sub explodes. And then we cut to Shanghai about 5 years later, at a research facility 200 miles off the mainland. Helicopter lands, and Rainn Wilson as Morris, a hotshot billionaire, comes out and hugs Zhang, who is one of the heads of this research facility.
At times, I couldn't tell if the character was poorly written or they just took the bad scenes Rainn Wilson did for ad-lib in these parts.
I think that's what it was.
I think it's the former. I think you because all these movies, it's always the billionaire is the money guy's always the bad guy, right?
Yep.
He's always, we got to push, and he's just not that bad. He makes one kind of shitty decision at the end when he decides not to radio local governments and instead tries to kill the shark himself.
Yeah. And even that has decent intentions because he's trying to kill the shark.
Right. He's trying to kill the shark, mostly for selfish reasons. He doesn't want lawsuits if anybody dies while this thing is still alive.
I think it's more my issue thinking about it was this an editing or writing issue for the way for his character? I don't know. I think they because a lot of the scenes seemed like he was trying when he was going for jokes in it. I think it's more what I'm saying. It sometimes came off as like awkward more than funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I agree. I think, Mark, it seemed like they kind of gave Rainn Wilson just carte blanche. Just like, yeah, ad lib. Just say whatever you want. You're a funny guy. And it's a lot of it is just very hokey, and it doesn't land.
Right. One might say they gave him free reign.
Ooh, yeah. I see what you did there. I like it.
That's better than any joke in this movie.
Very much so, yes.
And Morris meets Zhang's daughter, Su Yin, the leading marine biologist at the facility, and Zhang's granddaughter, Mei Ying. And Morris makes an ass out of himself by butchering Chinese to Su Yin. Zhang brings Morris and shows off the state-of-the-art facility and the whales that they've been researching. Don't get too attached to those whales. Zhang then brings Morris to meet the rest of the team, including Ruby Rose, a guy named Heller, who was on the rescue vessel with Statham, a guy named Mac, and a guy named DJ. Well, then Zhang introduces another part of the team via video. They're currently in a deep-sea vessel trying to prove that the Mariana Trench isn't the deepest part of the ocean. It goes deeper. In a mission that Morris is funding. The team's led by Lori, the pilot, with Masioka from Heroes, and some other guy named The Wall, which is the character trait that we get from him. That's it. Just that his nickname is The Wall.
The Wall.
He's big, right? I guess he's as big as a wall.
I suppose. I suppose that's the reason.
And did it seem weird? Because you said Rainn Wilson's character, Morris, he's funding this. But it seems as if he's completely unaware of that. Right? He comes in and he's like, wait, what are you launching? A rover? Like, yeah, man, what? Do you just like hand money out and not know where it goes?
Sure, probably. It's also weird that he wasn't there from the beginning, right?
Yeah, he should have been there.
He seems like super into all this, and it's like, oh yeah, these guys are already 10,000 feet deep. I'm just coming in now. Like, like you're walking into a movie 5 minutes late.
Yeah, he's both uninterested and very interested, it seems like.
Yeah, what is he trying to... So, like, the Megalodon discovery is a complete accident.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's his game? I guess it's just to be the team that discovers this. Is that it?
I think it's to be the team that discovers that the floor of the Mariana Trench is not the
right,
and everything that could be below it, discovery wise.
Right, because the theory here is that it's a cloud of super cold water, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is like keeping all life from escaping what's really at the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, nothing wants to go down, nothing wants to come up because it's too cold.
Yeah, it's like the Gaza Strip for the Mariana Trench.
Perfectly non-problematic way to put that.
Exactly, perfect.
And at one point when the Megalodon comes up, they're talking about like, oh, this is a golden opportunity. I don't want anyone else to make this discovery. you've already made the discovery. You beat everyone to it, so there's nothing to race to anymore. There's not. If you're gonna do that, you should have had a different company, like a company you're fighting against, right? To get to the Mariana Trench.
Could it
Like
be,
Jonas from Twister.
Damn it! I was going to make a fucking Twister joke.
Right. But you guys are right? You need to have that.
You
that
need the other
dueling-
Jonas.
You need
Yes.
the other Jonas. Dueling Jonases.
I was going to say another better funded research team going down.
We need to have more movies where the antagonist and the protagonist they have the same name, because that happens in life.
Yeah.
We should, and it should be Jonas, so the name of the movie could be My Name is Jonas.
Exactly. Yeah.
I imagine I imagine the poster has like My Name is Jonas, and then if you turn it upside down, and also another My Name is Jonas.
Ooh, that's really good. I like that.
Mhm.
But now, is the shark still there?
I hope the shark's also named Jonas. I hope everybody's name is Jonas. In this.
They just were racing to call the shark Jonas.
It's just the Spider-Man meme. My name is Jonas. My name is Jonas. And then the
well-
shark also pointing. My name is Jonas.
I like that. I like that idea.
Funnily enough, we would not have the song in it at all.
Right. And you could even make a point
Yeah.
where they don't know the song.
It would be entire soundtrack done by Weezer. No, My Name is Jonas.
Sweater
Only
Song
songs
is
off.
there.
Only songs off Pinkerton.
Oh, their best one. But yeah, I love that idea that he introduces himself to like Ruby Rose's character Jax. Like, oh hi, my name is Jonas. Oh, like the Weezer song. Who? And it's just that's a reoccurring.
That's a good joke.
That's a reoccurring joke throughout the movie.
Yeah. And just to let you know, I just figured out who Lori, the actress who plays Lori, the girl down in the ship, was, and realized that it's Sonya Blade from the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Yes.
And it bothered me until right now.
I thought that was James Gunn's wife, the woman in the Peacemaker show.
Yeah.
But no, it's Sonya Blade.
Yeah.
And also Ruby Rose. This is like just puts this movie in a time and place, huh?
It does.
Yeah, the only thing that could have made it better is if Ezra Miller was in it.
Yeah. Jen made a comment about her. Like, is her character not supposed to have showered in months? Because she looks very grimy in this movie.
She's got that greasy hair.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, how much showering do you think you do in a research facility like this? Probably not much. I mean, Jason Statham got one in.
He did, right? Like after
And he has so much hair to wash.
Well, he's just. I'm assuming it's because he works out constantly, right? So you need to at least rinse yourself.
Yeah, his body in that scene definitely looked like he did some push-ups before they started rolling.
He dehydrated himself before the shoot. Got to get the pecs and the abs, defined. You got to get them going. So yeah, he definitely he got a workout in.
And the team goes deeper past the trench and then breach it and find that it goes even deeper.
I'm sorry. What did they do? They prepared for
penetration or something like that. Is that was the joke, right? They kept saying penetration. Insertion.
Yeah, which
No-
I did
no
have a
one
chuckle
says,
at.
No one says nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like penetration would make more sense
Yeah.
because they're penetrating that void.
Right. They're not inserting. Well,
They're not
inserting
insertion-
themselves, I guess.
Sort of, but I feel like penetration is more accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this situation, definitely.
I only like the joke when she says it the second time because it's sort of like them being in the background. It was kind of like, all right, that looks a little too like made up. But then her knowing she has to say it again and just like that smirk of ready for insertion. That made me laugh.
Funny.
And they're surrounded by wildlife that no one has ever seen before. They land on the sea floor and set up to begin research. They start getting pings on the radar of something approaching them, and it is big and it is fast. As it approaches, it starts to attack the vessel, tossing the crew all over the place. Lori says there's something out there, and Jonas was right before the transmission cuts out.
Yep.
When the team reconvene... Oh, you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, that, of course, it's like one of those movie moments where the exact line that needs to be said is the thing said before, it cuts out.
Or it cuts out.
Not even like Jonas and then cuts. She got the whole sentence out.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't know what they were saying about Jonas. Maybe that the driver has injured his hand.
Yeah.
We're still not going to give up this. My name is Jonas.
No. This is the running joke we're going meta. It's the running joke in the podcast.
Because why would you call a character Jonas if you're not going to make that reference?
There's no other character named Jonas.
They should have called it him Jonah. So then you have the Jonah
whale.
and the whale.
Yep.
But this one's just a giant fucking shark.
But
also,
there are giant whales in it.
There should have been someone that has to like dig themselves out of the megalodon. Like that's how he should kill Megalodon.
Oh, he gets swallowed and has to
He
work
gets
his way
swallowed and works his way out through the butthole. I don't know what kind of butthole a shark has, but that's how he would do it.
Well, this one would probably have a big one, I'd imagine.
He'd probably step right out.
Right. It's an ancient butthole.
Is it Ace Ventura 2-esque when he comes out of the butthole?
I assume it's a little looser than that.
Yes.
Being a giant megalodon.
Right. He eats a giant squid. I mean, that takes a lot to get out, I'd imagine.
I was almost expecting when the squid started to leak the oil, I thought it was Jonas shooting at the squid and not the shark.
Just shooting missiles at it.
Yeah.
And then we just gloss over the fact that there's a giant squid in this movie.
Yeah.
It is not interested in the fact that there's a giant fucking squid.
No.
But the team reconvenes to try and figure out what to do. Max says there's only one man that could save them. Heller isn't happy he says this because Jonas let people die, but Max says he's the only person that has survived a rescue mission that deep in the water. So Mac and Zhang go to Thailand and talk with Jonas, who has now taken up the life of expatriate drunk in Thailand, which, all things considered, seems like a pretty fun life. And immediately Jonas says no, he doesn't dive anymore, no matter how much the money is that they offer him.
He makes it a point to say, you're gonna offer me money. I'm gonna say no. You're gonna appeal to my better nature. I'm gonna say no. And then immediately they say, oh, your ex-wife is down there. Cut to him being there. So he's all talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Typical Jonas.
Yeah.
It was more like I feel like his character, needed to be a little more, I guess in a video game sense, a little bit like cocky, like a Nathan Drake-esque, or like not the sad drunk thing that they portrayed here, or even from a comparison to Mortal Kombat that we made earlier, oh god, I want to say Johnny Cash, but it's not Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage. That's it. Just sort of like they cut to him. There's only one man that can do this. Cut to him like again the Gerard Butler character from that one movie. It's just giving out lessons on diving, and he's like really like an asshole. About like it's not the sad life. It's like, oh fuck, we don't want to deal with this guy.
Can we say that this movie should have had Gerard Butler in it?
I think he's an upgrade over Jason Statham. I'll say that.
Yeah, sure, right? And this movie made for him.
Yeah, and like I said, you just tune the character to what he's good at, Gerard Butler, and the movie improves at least a point or so on a 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah. I would agree.
Mm.
But then we couldn't do this movie because it's not Gerard-wary.
Yeah,
that's right. That's true. So they play the audio recording of the team right before the transmission cut out, and Zhang tells him it's Lori and the crew, and they may have encountered the same species that he came across during the rescue. And Jonas then just has the face of, well, fuck. So meanwhile, the stranded crew manages to get the auxiliary power started, but the lights wind up attracting whatever it is that attacked them before. Hint, it's the Megalodon. And Lori winds up getting stabbed in the side with a screwdriver as the vessel gets tossed. Heller shows Suyin a video of a deposition that Jonas had to do after the rescue attempt, and Heller tells Suyin that there were no creatures, that Jonas just lost his head. After the latest attack on the vessel, Ruby Rose tells Suyin that the vessel is losing oxygen and they only have a few hours of oxygen left. So Suyin decides that she's going to go after them herself in a vessel that's probably not cut out for that such deep sea diving. It just didn't seem like it. She says goodbye to her daughter and sets out about the same time that Jonas arrives with Mac and Zhang. They introduce him to the team and then drop the bomb that Heller is also on the team and will be administering the physical for Jonas.
I would have liked to, and maybe it's just me, seeing a little more of the dynamic between, Mac and Jonas? I don't know, because it seemed like they had all these relationships, and they wanted the audience to just like accept them and didn't do any work for them.
Yeah, Mac is just kind of there to facilitate plot, right?
Yeah.
He's really has nothing to do other than just be like, I know him.
And that's it. I like the actor Cliff Curtis who plays Mac. He's probably one of my favorite characters in this movie. But yeah, they don't give him a whole lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's more like expedition. What's the word?
Exposition.
Exposition dump.
He has one of the best like one-liners in the movie, which is in this part where they mention Heller, and he turns around and goes, "Oh, did I not mention that?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I chuckled, but I think it would have been a little more dramatic if like Mac was on that original rescue mission, or like if he was, they didn't explain that well. Just give them a little more background together as to why he wouldn't even tell him Heller was there.
And why he would choose Jonas over anyone else.
Yeah,
like I've dived with this guy several times.
Yeah,
I trust him with my life. Blah blah blah. I think that would kind of facilitate moving on.
Yeah. It's like a lot of missed opportunities in this, but I thought that was one of the better, because there's a couple of really bad one-liners in this movie, and I wanted to point out probably one of the, if not the best one in there.
Good. So he gets cleared by Heller despite each of them hating each other, and Jonas sits out on his own vessel to start the rescue. But Zhang's granddaughter is in the vessel, and she tells him that her mom went to go save her friends from the bottom of the ocean. And Jonas tells her that he's going to bring her back safe and sound. After a few moments of psyching himself up, Jonas dives and diverts all the power in the sub to the external power so he could dive faster. Which, I mean, the moment of himself psyching himself up probably could have been a good characterization of him being afraid to go into the water again. But as quickly as it's introduced, it just leaves. And on the radio, Jonas and Su-Yin get territorial about who's going to save the crew. But Su-Yin gets to the vessel first, but then a giant fucking squid wraps itself around her capsule, starting to crush it. Her capsule is about to breach when all of a sudden the squid stops crushing the capsule. The water around her fills with squid ink, and then a giant shark just swims by with the head of the squid in its mouth. It's a megalodon.
Oh, that's supposed to carry such weight to it, that line, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just, oh man, it's just not, it doesn't hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the trailer cut right there.
Yep. But to be fair, I was hoping it would go by. I was saying that line several times throughout watching it. It's a megalodon. I just kept saying it randomly throughout the night, even after the movie ended. Like I was like putting the dishes away. It's a megalodon.
Really,
I was going to say you should open your freezer. It's a megalodon.
Yeah, so I guess it's not a good line, but I just thought it was funny the way it's delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jonas is vindicated in his previous rescue attempt. So Jonas tells Su-Yin to turn off her lights as the Meg starts coming around again, but the system just taking too long. So he releases a bunch of flares to distract the Meg, and Su-Yin goes back to the surface. Then he goes to connect his vessel to the downed vessel and opens the hatch to bring the crew on board. As they're being brought on, the Meg starts coming back, and if it were to hit the vessels while they're connected, both would breach and they'd all die. So Masioka, the last one on the damaged ship, gives Wall a note that he wrote to his wife, then closes himself in the damaged ship and disconnects, which Wall dies, so I guess that note dies with him. Great.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Good. Glad we had this moment for that note that never gets to the wife.
Do we even know what's said, like what's written down in that note? I know it's to his wife, but
no, I think it's in Chinese.
It's in Chinese. Okay, so we don't even know what it said. It could have said anything.
Yeah, or he's Japanese, so it was probably in Japanese.
Okay, still pointless.
Yeah.
So Dan, you just have to go learn Japanese, and then revisit this movie, and then let us know what it says in the note.
All right. So pause the podcast. I'm gonna go learn Japanese. I'll be right back.
There you go. Then he turns on the lights to draw the Meg to him as the rest of the team manages to escape, and then it explodes when it attacks. When they get back to the lab, Lori gets sent to the infirmary, and Jonas gets taken to task for letting Masioka die by Su-Yin. He blows her off, telling her Masioka, whose name is Toshi, saved the lives by sacrificing himself for them.
Yeah. So this was the most forced argument in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because he gives the explanation, and everybody, pretty much agrees that that's what happened, and then she says to him, "You just always leave people behind." You know, it's sort of like, well, no, that's not what that happened. Okay,
yeah, that doesn't fit in this situation.
No,
because he didn't panic and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he basically he was thrown out essentially. Like I'm not giving you a choice. You leave.
Yeah, they closed and locked it and disconnected the ship.
Yeah, he Bruce Willis'd them in Armageddon.
Yeah, in Armageddon.
There you go.
Harry.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to fail.
The whole team has a meeting where they discuss the megalodon. It's a megalodon. And Morris, as the stereotypical money man, thinks they need to immediately capitalize on the scurry of this new ocean floor. Meanwhile, Jonas blows him off, basically saying it's a death sentence to anyone that he gets to do it for him. As the meeting continues, Su Yin's daughter starts to explore the lab and goes to the level where the observation glass is to see the whales.
Did we skip over the part where they say the word "the Meg"?
Oh well,
I don't have it in my notes, so yes.
Okay,
they do have like they're having that meeting about the megalodon, and it's like, oh, that was thought to be extinct, and DJ wrong. Dynamite dropped in there, DJ.
Yeah,
I think the way it goes is like, oh, it's a megalodon fish, and then it's like, yeah, and we found the Meg was this, and I'm like, oh, they just because at no other point, like from that point forward, that's the only thing they call it.
The Meg.
The
we
Meg.
don't have time to say the megalodon.
Yeah. They never mention the full name again. Maybe once or twice or something when they're doing like sciencey stuff, but the rest of the time it's just the Meg.
They were trying to get that into the zeitgeist.
And I don't know if we ever researched if Family Guy ever did anything with that.
I was going to do research for this movie.
Again, my notes on this, very minimal. I think I have like 6 or 7 notes on it.
I'm glad they just said the Meg because it just shortened the movie by seconds.
It's an hour and 50 minutes, and if you have the megalodon throughout the entire movie, you probably get it to 157, and that's too long. Too long.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's down there to see the whales, but guess who's there? The megalodon. It's a megalodon who put some teeth marks right on the glass. Team goes
put them on the glass.
They do. The team goes to the commotion, and gets face to face with the Meg as it eats the whales. They assess the damage to the lab, which is minimal.
I like how when they see the teeth marks on the glass, they don't immediately think that something bad is out there. Like, oh, must have been something else, not the megalodon.
Yeah,
it couldn't have been the megalodon.
It's just the whales, sweetie.
Yeah, it's just the whales that did that. Notorious for having gigantic jaws
and teeth.
And teeth, yes.
But then Ruby Rose says that when they left the extra underwater place, they left a trail of warm water, which allowed the Meg to pass through the barrier of super cold water. So now the Meg is swimming around regular ocean.
Did we just create a super highway for, prehistoric sharks?
Looks that way.
No, it seems like only a one-time event. Oh, so they explained it away. Okay.
Yeah. It's coming
down. That's a movie I'd want where all those crazy animals come out.
And the super highway. That's awesome.
Like the blobfish.
They got to figure out a way to close it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Pacific
nuking it.
Nuking it, yes.
You have to nuke the Mariana Trench.
And
so it just collapses.
But then it makes sense when Zhang says that line, we did what humans do best, destroy nature. When you nuke the ocean.
Yeah. That seems like a great movie for like Hilary Swank to headline. I just think of the core probably. Yes. Blowing up the Mariana Trench.
Hey, listen, we had to blow up the moon in Moonfall. So
spoilers.
Well, hey, listen.
When the moon is falling, I mean, there's only one thing you can really do.
Right. It's been a while since we nuked something.
What do you guys know about space? You guys are interested in looking down at the water. Don't start acting like you're professional space goers.
No, we would know about the moon.
Tell me there's only one way to stop a moon from falling. You don't know. You're too busy dicking around in 3 feet of water.
We would know about the moon because since we're so interested in the ocean, we would need to know why the tides exist and how they work. Ooh. So we would need to study the moon at some point.
He's got you there. Yeah.
Well, also that's not actually how tides work, though.
Wait, hold on. The moon does facilitate the tides.
No, we're constantly moving in a water bubble. and the tides are
Oh.
just created are when we move into those bubbles.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Checkmate.
Yeah, and the for nuking the ocean thing, which is pretty funny. That's brought up because it's actually like a plot point in a video game this year. Pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, I don't play video games.
Yeah.
I'm not a nerd.
Yeah, literally nuking the motherfucking ocean is the line in the movie, and they do it, and the ocean's gone.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't using it.
Hey, Sarah, Sarah.
Now we can really see if there was anything below the Mariana
Look,
Trench.
you know, what better way to stop the polar ice caps from melting and destroying, coastlines by getting rid of the oceans?
Yeah,
problem
the
solved.
ocean.
Yep.
Can't have polar ice caps if you don't if they're nuked. So
you know what, Kylie Jenner, take 2-minute private jet rides. I don't care. We've got this shit figured out. Later, Jonas goes to take a shower, and Soo Yin walks in on him just a towel in an attempt to apologize, but she gets so flustered over his nudity that it comes out super awkward, so she leaves. Later, the team gets a distress call nearby, and then they go to investigate it. They come across the remains of what appears to be poacher boats and see the fin of the Meg in the distance. Not a complete loss. They start to argue about what to do about the Meg, until Morris reminds them of trackers that he's seen on Shark Week. Another trailer
There you
line.
go.
So they decide that the best way to get close enough to the Meg to get a tracker onto the dorsal fin, is for one of them to swim to it and then do it without a boat. So
ridiculous.
Jonas decides that it's up to him to do it. It's a giant fucking shark. You don't even need a tracker. Just look, there it is. Most of the time, that's what happens in this movie. It's like, nope, there it is.
Yeah, right. It doesn't hide.
Yeah.
This isn't Jaws.
And the one time that they do use it ends in disaster.
Yeah. The tracker does nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the tracker, it lets them know that it's going to the beach.
Yeah.
That's
basically it. So Jonas decides that it's up to him to do it. So he sets out with a tracker on a harpoon and a lifeline back to the boat tied to him. As he gets closer, it disappears under the water. It's a 45 fucking foot shark. How does it disappear? Then reappears in a good enough spot to shoot the harpoon and he lands it right on the dorsal fin.
I call bullshit on that. The shark is moving quickly. You're floating up and down.
Yeah, you're bobbing.
But again, Jason Statham is just the fucking man, apparently. Yeah. He could do no wrong. It's so ridiculous.
Once he lands the shot, they start to reel him in with the lifeline, but the vibrations in the water makes it attract the Meg, and it starts chasing Jonas as if he were a worm on a hook. Start to reel him in faster as they start the boat, and the Meg chases after him. And then the Meg jumps just as Jonas makes it back to the boat, and it just misses him. The next plan is for Soo Yin to go into a plastic shark cage and to shoot the Meg with a trank. It's as stupid an idea as it sounds.
I don't know why they didn't do this in the first place with the tracker.
Yeah.
Fair question.
Yeah. But I did enjoy the line where they're trying to science it out and goes, well, if we use this at 10 whatever, it can knock out a blue whale. And at this much, it kills it. What should we use on this shark? And they just throw it all out the window by having Heller go, the whole fucking bottle. Or I feel like he said fucking, but it's PG-13, so I don't think he says it.
Whole damn thing.
Whole damn thing. So she goes in the plastic cage, which is designed to bend but not break. And then the Meg winds up grabbing it like it's a dog with a squeaky toy. And then breaks the crane that the cage is on, as if, obviously that's going to happen.
Yep.
And then the Meg just starts to try and swallow the cage whole. Jonas puts on a wetsuit and dives in to try and save Soo Yin, whose mask cracks after the jostling, but she does manage to shoot the poison into the shark's mouth, which I'm not sure if it did anything.
I think eventually it does.
Yeah.
Is that what kills the shark, or is it just the whole thing? Because it stops moving forward.
Yeah, because they look into the mouth as it starts dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the whole. That. I thought it was the whole thing. It was like, shark stops moving, then it dies.
I mean, that probably could be a better explanation, but they made a point to show you the thing in the mouth.
Yeah. The cage starts to sink as the crane falls into the water. So the crew sets a trap using the other crane and does not exactly sure what the trap is, but it's a trap. But as Jonas starts to bring Soo Yin to the surface, as she is now passed out, she ran out of oxygen. The Meg starts closing in on him and almost swallows him whole, but it gets caught on something and dies because it stops moving or because of the poison. Either way, through all the chaos, several people fall off the boat and they pull Soo-Yin out of the water and start applying CPR. Soo-Yin wakes up in a bed and having been saved by Jonas yet again.
And by the way, if you're watching this movie at home, get used to people just falling off the boat for no reason.
Yep. Everybody's just falling off boats.
Yep.
I didn't understand how the wall fell off the boat in this moment. Because it was like weirdly edited where like you really don't see what happens. I think he just gets hit by like the tow line.
Yeah.
I think something jostles the shark and it scares him.
That's later. That's when he falls off again.
Yeah.
That's the second time he falls off.
Right. Yeah. Again, we have to clarify because it happens constantly.
Yeah. Ruby Rose falls off the boat at this moment and gets saved by Morris. Again, showing that he's not a complete dick. Which, not letting a person get eaten by a giant shark isn't super like selfless.
I'm sorry that you said that because I wouldn't save many people if I fell.
You wouldn't just throw out on a rope ladder as someone is like, please help.
Well, if I'm in the water as well, I'm gonna try to outswim you.
No, he's not. He's on the boat.
Oh, again, I don't know where because he winds up in the water too at one point. No, if I'm in the boat, then yeah, I'll throw you a life jacket. But
okay, cool.
Yeah,
thanks, Dan.
I'm just letting you know if we go out in the ocean. Don't.
Thank God. So I'm glad I'm going to space.
I'll save you in space.
Okay, good. The team is pretty jovial, having just killed the Meg and have it now hoisted onto the deck of the ship to bring it back to shore. Shank starts to give some bullshit. All man does is destroy speech, and it's a fucking 40-foot shark. Exceptions can be made in this instance. And the wall, once again, is the name of a character we don't know much about. Asks Jonas to take his picture with the Meg, but when he tries to pose, they lower the crane and it scares him, causing him to fall backwards into the water. Another person falling off a boat. Then, while he's taking a victory lap in the water, another bigger Meg swallows him whole, then jumps onto the deck of the ship, taking the smaller Meg with it, and it causes the ship to capsize, and everyone gets tossed.
I hated that moment, by the way. The reveal of a bigger Meg.
Yeah.
I hated it.
You sounded like you kind of liked this movie to begin with. How do you dislike that moment? You've seen this movie 3 times, Dad. I don't understand this.
Well, no, listen, sometimes I've watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 10 times. I do not like that movie.
So much for a movie you don't like.
Because it's on.
Does that number keep going up, or is it me?
I guess he continues to watch it.
What was it at before?
It was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
You've seen it twice since we've done that episode.
I haven't. I promise you I haven't. But I know I've seen it a whole lot. No,
2 weeks down the line. I've only seen it 12 times.
I've only seen it 13 times, guys. This movie's not that good. And that's one of the reasons I remember not even enjoying that scene in the theater. Like that's such a weird twist.
I feel like if you like this movie, you like that moment. Like, oh shit, son, it's not over yet.
But I never felt like anything. Like the stakes weren't raised all of a sudden. It's just a bigger shark now.
Yeah, and the first one was too big shark.
Yeah, the first one was too fucking big.
Right.
There are 2 things that could have made it slightly better. Not great, but slightly better. Was they should have given a little more time to breathe for Jason Statham and Bing Bing Lee's character to realize that the teeth marks didn't match to what they were starting to say. Mm-hmm. That the teeth marks didn't match the one on the window down on the deck. I think he sort of goes, doesn't it seem different? Let that breathe a little bit. And then the other part is when the shark does jump up, have it just grab the shark and go in. Like, don't land on the boat. Just have it clear, landing on the boat and everybody falling in the water again. Because then that shark should just circle around and get all of them. But I think it clearing the boat and taking the other shark with it would have been a much cooler moment.
Sure. You know what? This is just proving to me that Piranha 3D is a better version of this movie. Because I
would agree with that.
This scene is basically how that movie ends. they are done. Everything. They think they've killed all the piranhas, and then Christopher Lloyd comes on the radio and was like, "All these piranha that you've seen, these are the babies, right?"
Yeah.
And then it ends with a shot of Adam Scott. Just, oh, well, then where is and then like the big piranha comes out and snatches his ass off the boat. Same exact scene, and done so much better.
Yeah, Piranha 3D is much more fun than this movie.
Yep, it's dumb and fun, like this movie wanted to be, and what people said they were on Letterboxd, liars.
I think this movie definitely suffers from the PG-13 rating.
100%.
You give it an
100%.
R, you might be able to explore a little bit.
Well, 100% with the beach scene. The beach scene is such a cock tease.
That should have been an absolute massacre.
Yeah.
Right? You have hundreds of people in the water, and I think one person dies, or two people die that we know of.
Yeah, like I would say thousands of people in that water. It's massive, the amount of people that are on that beach.
They even make a point to, I think DJ says, "Oh, it's only the most heavily dense. It's the most densely populated beach in the country, or something like that, or in the world."
Yeah,
and like it doesn't matter. Like the majority of people live. 2 people are killed. Like,
maybe at worst a dozen people.
Yeah,
which is a lot, but I mean it's like people we've never met before, so it's cannon fodder.
There literally should have been a scene where people are swimming away and the shark comes from left to right, just swallowing them all whole.
Yep.
100 people gone in an instant.
Mm-hmm. But not.
Nope.
Then Zhang gets knocked out by a bunch of oxygen tanks, I suppose, and everyone else scrambles to get on the bottom of the capsized boat. Jonas pulls Zhang out of the water. Heller and Ruby Rose find themselves far away from the boat with the Meg staring them down. But Heller sacrifices himself to get Ruby Rose back on the boat by splashing wildly to attract the Meg in his direction. He gets eaten.
The first time Ruby Rose's character has taken a shower in months.
What is this stuff? Water?
The team manages to take a couple of gas-powered lifeboats and head back to the lab. As they head back, Morris calls in a helicopter team that manages to shoot the Meg with a tracker and shoots at it a bit to scare it off. On the way back, Zhang gives a really dramatic speech to Su Yin, and then he dies. I think he does that little cough too. It's like it's a head injury, dude.
Yeah. That's the thing. We don't. Do we see how he gets injured? It's just he hits his head, right?
Some equipment falls on him as the boat capsizes.
Oh, and that's it.
Yeah.
Kind of weak sauce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna die from a head injury like that, I don't know. I don't think those last moments are gonna be like that.
No,
right?
It's got to be like traumatic, like big time trauma,
Yeah.
Bleeding all over the place.
Well, I mean, like people that die at ski accidents or hitting their head or, things like that, like Bob Saget, or I guess he had blood coming out with it when he died. But, it's like they just kind of die in their sleep, basically, eventually after they too much blood on the brain. But no one's making dramatic speeches, I don't think. So they get back to the lab. Su Yin tells her daughter that Zhang is dead. Morris addresses the crew, tells them that he has alerted the local governments about the Meg and that a rescue boat would be there in the morning to bring them off the lab. And then he leaves in a helicopter. Meanwhile, Jonas goes to check in on Lori, who has absolutely nothing to do in the second half of this movie. Buys her playing cards with Su Yin's daughter. They talk and then go ahead.
Lori basically watches her ex-husband flirt with Su Yin for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, they explained that away in like a couple sentences earlier, saying that they were the 2 worst people ever to get married, and the experiment failed. I think Matt says, or something. I'm paraphrasing.
It doesn't look like it, though.
No.
Right? There's no animosity between the 2 of them, it seems like.
No. Maybe it's just one of those things where we can't be together. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Don't fuck this up,
Meanwhile, they talk, and then the little girl makes really weird eyebrow moves when she tells Jonas that her mom likes him. Morris, meanwhile, is actually setting out to kill the shark before anyone finds it because of the potential of lawsuits. They track it down and drop a couple charges of explosives down on it. Then Morris has his team sail over to collect some teeth from it. But his guy tells him that there is no teeth, and he thinks they just killed a whale. So Morris realizes the shark is right underneath them, so orders the men to start the boat. They floor it, and the sudden jerk makes Morris fall off the boat, another person falling into the water. Then he gets eaten by the shark. The next morning, Mac realizes that Morris never called anyone, that they're still on their own. Jonas then asks Ruby Rose to hack into Morris's computer system to find out where the shark is, and she does, and they realize that the Meg is heading to one of the most populated beaches in the world. So the team devises a plan to jimmy-rig torpedoes to mini-subs and lure the shark away from the beach. Meanwhile, on the beach, the Meg has a really underwhelming feeding frenzy as it attacks some swimmers and a wedding party and a dog.
Yeah, I did love Mac's line. I don't know if it's already happened or it's going to come up, where they ask him if he's called the government. He's like, yeah, but saying giant prehistoric shark doesn't ring as not crazy to everyone. And it's kind of like, yeah, explaining this whole situation would sound like a prank call to these governments.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just say that there's a shark, there's a shark sighting coming towards the beach?
I mean, true, but...
Right? I mean, you're scientists. You would think that someone would believe you.
Yeah, but I think the military would be like, then why are you calling us?
That's true.
Who gives a shit? Clear the line. And then the team plays whale sounds underwater, and it diverts the Meg to their ship. With Jonas in one mini-sub and Suyin in another, they attempt to shoot the Meg with their torpedoes. Meanwhile, above the water, news crew helicopters start to circle their ship trying to get footage of the Meg when they collide in midair, one of which crashes directly onto the deck of the ship, causing the crew to have to bail out.
This feels like a writer's room moment where, like, we have to have a reason why everybody ends up in the water. 2 helicopters crashing and one of them crashes on the boat.
Yeah.
Got it.
But they really don't need to be in the water.
No.
They really don't, because
no.
The end scene could just be, oh man, I think Jonas got it, but he sacrificed himself too. And then like Suyin comes up with him hanging on. It's like, guys thought you could get rid of me, not so fast.
Yeah, it was. They set up a very Independence Day minus the up yours moment, and then just didn't pay it off.
Or the Bruce Willis in Armageddon.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jason Statham Jason Statham ever died in a movie?
Good.
That is a good question. I don't think so. Not that I can think of.
That's probably one of those contract things.
Right, and he can never lose a fight.
Yep.
I don't think.
Is it the opposite of Sean Bean?
Right.
Sean Bean has it as contract. I gotta die.
I have to die. I don't want to be tied down to all of these movies.
I don't want to do a sequel.
Right.
Yeah. That's a sequel proof.
You're planning 7 seasons of Game of Thrones? Nope, I'm out. First season.
They were gonna cast him as Tywin. Like, wait a minute. I'm in this for how many seasons? No. Give me Ned.
I always thought that he's not one of the apes in Planet of the Apes, right? Is he? Because he looks a lot like the main ape in Planet of the Apes.
That's Rothman. Isn't that Tim Rothman or
Tim Roth?
Tim Roth, yes.
Tim Roth. That's Tim Roth is in the Tim Burton one.
Yes.
I'm talking about the new ones.
No, I think that isn't that Andy Serkis?
I think it is.
Yeah,
Richard Armitage.
He's Caesar.
Yeah. We're getting off topic. I was looking at an article about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I was trying to figure out if Sean Bean's in it.
I like Sean Bean. The more times he's in a movie, the better, I'd say.
So over the comms, Suyin can hear that the crew is trying to find her daughter, so she heads to the surface to help while Jonas tries to shoot the Meg with his torpedoes. When Jonas lines up a good shot, his torpedo malfunctions, and he has to set out on a chase with the Meg to keep the Meg away from the boat and the crew. Suyin manages to save the crew that have fallen in the water. Jonas sets out to suicide mission and take the Meg with him. First uses the fin of the mini-sub to cut an enormous gash down the belly of the Meg. Then as the Meg starts breaching his sub, he escapes with an oxygen mask and then stabs it in the eye. Blood from the gash causes a ton of sharks to appear, and they all go to town feasting on the Meg. Then Suyin shows up to rescue Jonas with her mini-sub, and they all get picked up by the wedding boat. And the dog shows back up. Good old Pippin's back.
Yeah, this is when a third, even bigger shark should have showed up.
That'd been good.
It's just constantly bigger sharks.
Just swallows the boat whole. That's super yacht.
Oh, the megalodon.
My name is Jonas too.
Wait, does the shark speak?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Do it. Throw it in there.
And then the crew heads back to shore with the wedding party, and we get a little title card that just says Finn. And that is the end of the Meg.
Get a guy's fin, like a shark fin.
Because it's over.
Yeah.
It should have said meaning. It should have said LL Cool J's hat. I would have gotten that.
Yeah.
LL Cool J's hat. I think that's who I
My head
meant
is like
DJ was. DJ was not LL Cool J.
Mm-hmm.
Because he very much had the Deep Blue Sea vibes going.
Yeah. The one shot on the deck of the boat where he's like, whoa, hold up. It's like, dude, yeah, we get
it. We couldn't get LL Cool J for the Meg.
Yeah.
Now here's Paige Kennedy.
Yeah, I didn't like it. To be honest, you go tell Jen I was not a fan.
I think they all know about it. So, yeah. Oh, you know what's crazy? I'm just looking it up. Paige Kennedy was also in SWAT.
Look at that.
That is so weird. Wow, talk about a small world.
Oh, Paige.
I hope he shows up for the Meg 2. The Meganing. I don't know if that's the title. Oh, it's Megan time. There
Meg
we go.
To the Trench.
Trench. Ooh, that's good. I think they are making another Meg movie.
Yeah, it's Meg 2, the Meg 2, the Trench.
Oh, it is called The Trench. I thought you were just making that up.
No.
I got very excited.
Is this going to be like the end of that Billy Baldwin movie or whatever that we watched where they take the fight to the trench?
Yeah. Yep. When it turns out that we're the invading force, really?
Yeah. That we've been under the thermal cloud.
Man. Is there Atlantis in the trench? Dan's Atlantis?
Yeah, and it ties into Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever.
There you go. I like it.
That better be, because I think, is this property of Disney now? I don't know. But you could theoretically have Namor ride the Meg.
Dan, you'll be happy to know that Paige Kennedy's back in the Meg 2.
He is. I saw that. I am very excited. He also has 69 credits to his name.
Nice.
So this guy, Paige Kennedy, he's growing on me by the second.
I think that's all we got time for this week for the Meg. Yeah, people that said it was just dumb fun. It really wasn't. And I know Jen said it was like the best shark movie since Jaws. I mean, I guess.
It's slim pickings for that.
Yeah.
Has she seen Deep Blue Sea?
I don't have to ask her.
I don't even know.
Like that's not a very good movie either.
I haven't seen that in about 15 years, so just the first one that came in my head.
I mean, like I said, we watched Cruel Jaws and Jaws the Revenge on this podcast, and I like them both better. They're not better, though.
Real quick. We'll do this. We'll settle it this way. Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh,
Cruel Jaws, Jaws the Revenge, the Meg.
I'm killing the Meg.
Okay.
100%. I think I'm fucking Cruel Jaws because I just want like one night with it. I don't know if I could survive an entire life with Cruel Jaws because Jaws the Revenge has Michael Caine in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could fuck with that. I could live with that, I should say. I could fuck with Cruel Jaws, but I live with Jaws the Revenge.
And it also has that pedigree.
Yeah. You know, you got Lorraine Carey reprising her role for some reason. A 16-year-old woman headlining a major motion picture. It's weird.
Why not, right?
Yeah. Am I the only one answering this question?
Well, I abstained because I didn't see Cruel Jaws. So
okay.
I know.
It's excellent. It's got Hulk Hogan's. It's got Hulk Hogan stand-in. It's perfect.
And it has the Star Wars theme in it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely marrying the Jaws the Revenge. Definitely because of Michael Caine and again the pedigree, you know. And it's set in the Caribbean, so that's not a bad place to be.
Yep.
I think I'm switching it up. I think I'm gonna kill Cruel Jaws because the shark is like non-existent and it's like paper mached.
Mm-hmm. It is cruel though.
No one's denying that. We can't deny that fact. It is cruel. No, I think at least the Meg is a shark. It looks like a shark, so I'm giving it its due there. I'll fuck the Meg. I'll kill Cruel Jaws.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that we've covered it all for this week. So check us out on all the socials. If you have found the podcast, you know where to find us. If you got 5-star review in you, we could definitely use that on your podcatcher of choice. So please give us those 5 stars. And that's going to wrap us up this week. The director of The Meg is John Turteltaub. So for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony Delvecchio telling John Turteltaub, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you? Thanks for listening to They Called Us a Movie. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. You can also check us out on TikTok at They Called Us a Movie.